Konrad Styner, Doctor of Medicine. Tonight's story has the title, Awake into Spring.
Guardian of birth, healer of the sick, comforter of the aged. And the qualities of the worthy physician are three: the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the hand of a woman.
Our actual case history tonight concerns the subject of euthanasia, so-called mercy killings. The object in point, a paper airplane. The case in point, Edward Alfred Ainsworth. He's 8 years old, an orphan. His only living relative is his grandfather, Albert Ainsworth. 6 years ago, Edward developed symptoms of a strange hereditary ailment known as progressive muscular dystrophy. It's a gradual wasting away of muscular tissue with inevitable crippling results. Since that time, his world has been a small one, bounded by the four walls of his grandfather's house and the countryside immediately surrounding it. A house and a few acres of ground, which must contain the whole universe for the stricken youngster. But although his world is small compared to the vast realm available to the healthy child, in the eyes of 8-year-old Eddie, bound to bed and wheelchair probably for life, it is nonetheless a bright world, overflowing with great beauty, great adventure, and great happiness. But his aging grandfather sees it through different eyes and in darker aspect. He doesn't reveal it outwardly, but in his troubled mind, he can foresee only misery and despair. And he's resolved that somehow, no matter what the means, he must defeat them.
Come on, Trouble. Trouble, come on, boy. Hey, come on, Trouble. Come on, boy. Come on, let's go. Come on. Hey, come on.
Come on, Trouble. Come on, boy. That's my pal.
He's getting as deep as a post.
Let's go find a rabbit, huh?
Take a mighty old rabbit for Trouble to catch.
Catching him doesn't matter. You just like chasing him, don't you, Trouble?
No, he does is just fall behind. He's getting old, I guess, just like me. I can't keep up with it anymore. Yeah, now go ahead, Trouble. Go on, Trouble. Let's go. Come on. Come on.
Gramps?
Yes?
Hear it?
What?
Meadowlark back in the pasture.
Hey, sure is a meadowlark, all right.
Wonder what it's like back there.
Back where?
Back in the pasture off the road. You know where the birds and things are? Down on the ground?
What do you want to know a thing like that for? It's very marshy, that ground is. Yeah, it's damp. Catching awful cold back there.
I suppose. Gramps?
Yeah?
Birds don't catch cold, do they?
Well, I don't know, Eddie boy. It's hard to tell about birds. They have all a way of their own.
They don't get sick like I am, do they?
And I don't suppose so. There's some strange questions you were asking. Hey, where's Trouble? I wonder what he's after.
Whatever it is, I bet he doesn't get it.
Well, the old pooch, I suppose he's slowing down. Yeah, he's getting quite old now.
Let's have a look, huh?
Well, now, I don't know, son, whether I get this chair up that hill. But tell you what, suppose I tote up piggyback. Would you like that?
Yeah!
All right. Now, you just steady yourself. I get down here. Now, put your arm around my shoulder. Now, get a good hold. All right? Well, here we go. There. Hold on tight.
You sure are breathing hard, Gramps. Am I too heavy for you?
No, just that. Same old twinge in my chest.
I don't see Trouble around. Wonder where he went. Gramps, what's wrong? Are you sick?
I've got a pain in my chest.
Gramps! Tell me what's wrong. Gramps! Gramps! Talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. Help! Somebody help!
sorry, Doctor, but I know what's what. You don't have to fool me. I know I got heart trouble, and it's going to kill me. It's just a matter of time, that's all.
Well, I can't go along with that, Mr. Ainsworth. If you follow that line of thinking, your whole life's just a matter of time.
You can say that, but I know. I've got heart trouble, and someday it's going to kill me.
It's possible, but you could have said that about your heart 20 years ago. You could have spent the last 20 years worrying about it for nothing. Someday can be a long time coming.
Not for me, it ain't. You don't know. I felt it. A cold, icy hand grabbing at my heart, crushing it, squeezing it.
Well, that's usually the feeling, Mr. Ainsworth, and I know it can be very painful. These chest pains you experienced, angina pectoris we call it, don't actually inflict any damage on the heart muscle itself. Only the blood vessels of the heart, the coronary arteries, are affected. They've become narrowed, and the amount of blood that can flow through them is restricted. That's what causes the pain. But I want you to remember one thing. The heart muscle itself is just as strong, just as healthy as it's ever been.
Well, I don't mind about myself, Doctor. I don't mind dying. I've lived a long time. But it's about Eddie. What would happen to him if I pass away?
You're in excellent health, Mr. Ainsworth. Stay that way. Take care of yourself, and there's no reason why you can't take care of Eddie for a long, long time. You remember that?
Yes, I remember. But Eddie needs me. I couldn't go off and leave him all alone. No, I just couldn't. I just couldn't leave him alone. Never. No, never.
Gramps! Front door!
Yeah, oh, yes. Yeah. I heard. Well, good morning, Mrs. Allen.
Good morning, Mr. Ainsworth. Had a nice shank bone left over from Sunday dinner, and I just went right out and brewed up a whole steaming pot of good homemade broth. Well, now, how is our little patient today? My, he's such a good boy, Mr. Ainsworth. Just the very best. Why, when you were gone, at the hospital, I mean, we just had loads of fun, didn't we, Eddie?
Yes, ma'am.
I appreciate you looking after the boy. Eddie tells me everything was just fine.
Well, what are neighbors for, I'd like to know. But I don't mind telling you I was scared half to death the day old George Kelly brought you home. Why, just watching you waiting there for that ambulance, I swear you were the picture of death. Absolutely.
Oh, it was nothing at all. Dr. Styner said it happens to a lot of folks my age. I just got to take it easy, that's all.
Well, you never can tell, though. Now, Mr. Allen, mind you, he was as strong as a bull, and it was his heart, too. One day, he just dropped right where he stood, just like that. He was younger than you, too.
Mrs. Allen, I'm very busy today. And
oh, yes, I know just how you feel, Mr. Ainsworth, getting old. Oh, that's something nobody likes to face.
No.
But you've got to remember you can't just think of yourself.
No,
there are others.
That might be right,
Oh,
Mrs.
yes.
Allen. Yes, you might be right. Well, goodbye, Mrs.
Well,
Allen.
goodbye.
Goodbye. The old blabbermouth.
Gramps, what was she talking about?
Oh, nothing at all, son, nothing at all. Just don't pay any attention to her. Come on, Trouble. Come on, get your dinner. Trouble. What's the matter with that old hunk of flea bait? Trouble. trouble.
What's the matter, Gramps? Gramps!
Something's happened, Eddie.
What? What are you talking about?
Trouble's dead.
No, he is not dead. He can't be dead.
Yes, I guess he just slipped off into sleep. Poor old dog. Poor pup.
But he wasn't even sick, Gramps. There wasn't anything wrong with him.
Oh, yes, there was, Eddie. The worst thing of all was wrong with him. He was old. Too old.
So it went for young Eddie's aging grandfather. Every small difficulty, every minor tragedy exaggerated and magnified. His heart ailment, constant visits from a talkative, sometimes tactless neighbor, the sudden death of the household pet, Eddie catching cold. All this plus the constant but so unnecessary worry. What would happen to the boy if I should die? He's helpless. Who would care for him? What would become of him?
Prayer of the poor man when he was anxious and poured out his supplication before the Lord. Hear, O Lord, my prayer, and let my cry come to thee. Turn not away thy face from me in the day when I am in trouble. Incline thy ear to me. For my days are vanished like smoke, and my bones are grown dry like fuel for the fire. I am smitten as grass, and my heart is withered, because I forgot to eat my bread. But thou, O Lord, endurest forever,
and thy memorial to all generations. Thou shalt arise and have mercy on Zion, for it is time to have mercy on it, for the time is come. Amen.
Immediately after Albert Ainsworth and his grandson Eddie were discovered in the gas-filled house by their neighbor, Edna Allen, they were removed to the local hospital for emergency treatment. Both patients exhibited some effects of hypoxia, but comparatively slight exposure to the gas permitted complete recovery within a few days. Supportive care in the form of oxygen and stimulants were utilized in the initial management of the case.
That's right, Doctor. I know why I did it, and I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I tried it, but I'm sorry it didn't turn out the way I wanted. But it was the only way out.
Well, maybe you're right, Mr. Ainsworth. And maybe there was a better way out.
Oh, I've thought it over a long time. Well, you don't know how long. And I know I'm right. I know I'm right.
I always like to try and understand everybody's point of view. But why don't you try and take a look at the other side of the question?
Well, there is no other side. There's only one side. And I know I'm right.
Mr. Ainsworth, I think I know pretty well how you felt the last few days. How you're feeling right now. Depression, low spirits, sense of guilt. And to a degree, I can sympathize with what's been going on in your mind. I sat and listened to your thoughts on the subject. I heard your side of the story. Now, I'd appreciate it if you'd listen to mine.
But you don't know the story. You're not in my place. You just don't know.
Don't I? I'm a doctor, Mr. Ainsworth. I have a pretty fair acquaintance with life and death. And that's exactly what you were dealing with when you shut the doors and the windows, turned on the gas jets. Just for a moment, let's try and divorce ourselves from this thing. Let's pretend that you and I are not involved. It's two other people. Let's try and take a look at exactly what happened, what was involved, and what was at stake. First of all, you were trying to do a good thing. At least you thought it was good. There was no one to argue the point with you. You were a one-man committee. But anyway, you were trying to be helpful. You were trying to solve a problem that was in front of you constantly. You were reminded of it every minute, every day. And that problem involved human life. 2 human lives. That's where you made your mistake, Mr. Ainsworth. A bad mistake. You were making a decision you had no earthly right to make. You were dealing with something that didn't belong to you. It wasn't your property. It's not any man's property. Never has been and never will be. Human life is given, not earned. I'll leave it to your religious beliefs to dictate where it comes from, but nonetheless, it's given. It's a gift. And when you elected to take your life and Eddie's, you put yourself in the position of a man who takes a gift, uses it as long as it pleases him, and then throws it back in the giver's face. Think about it. A human life. You elected to sit in judgment and dispose of the most precious commodity in the whole universe. No man has that right. I think nobody's in a position to better appreciate that than a doctor who lives up to his oath. Living, dying, Life, death. Those are profound questions, Mr. Ainsworth. The doctor faces them every day of his professional life. And sometimes, many times, those questions aren't easy to answer. Sometimes the whole thing seems to make no sense at all. Before I came up here tonight, I saw another patient of mine. She's 34 years old. She has a husband and 4 beautiful kids. And she also has cancer. Her chest is riddled with it. There's no hope for her, I'm sure of it. Do you feel you also have the right to sit in judgment on her? Shall we let her live through the night, or shall we do away with her? Another one, 10-year-old boy. He's got acute leukemia. I don't think he can live more than a month. Shall we let him live? Or shall we kill him? And there's another one. Old Mrs. Wilson lives out on the south side of town. She's 83 years old. She has a heart condition. She has arthritis. She's senile and she's crotchety. She's lived a full life. But right now, she is absolutely non-productive. What are we going to do about her? What are we going to do about her and all the thousands upon thousands of old people just like her? And add to that, all the youngsters, all the young adults, all the invalids, hopeless cripples. And add to that, all the patients in mental institutions, feeble-minded and the insane. What shall we do about all those people? Life or death? Shall we set up a new book of rules? All those that are healthy and productive can live. Those who aren't, well, it's unfortunate. But they'll have to die. And by the way, how are we going to judge these cases? They must number millions. Shall we leave it to the relatives and the family? Shall we set up committees, courts? Or maybe just a court with one judge, one man. He'll sit in judgment, examine the facts, and deliver the verdict. Life or death. Would you like to see Eddie in a court like that? Would you like to sit in a court and hear some judge tell you that he was sorry, but Eddie had no more claim to life, that he had to die? Mr. Ainsworth, I've thought about it a lot. I faced it, I don't know how many times. In surgery, in hospital rooms like this, on house calls and in treatment rooms. And each time the question comes up, there's just one thing that I have to remember. I'm a doctor, and some years ago I took an oath to preserve life. To preserve it, cherish it, sustain it. And there's just one thing about that particular part of our oath, Mr. Ainsworth. I don't think it should apply to doctors alone. What do you think?
She sure is a swell pup, isn't she, Gramps?
Yep, sure is.
It's funny. I never thought it would be the same like it used to.
Well, why not? No reason why everything should come to a dead stop just because we mess things up now and then. Besides, it's good for you. Keeps you on your toes.
Did you see it?
What was it?
A scarlet tanager, I think. Just a red flash over in that tree.
Oh, I wish I had your eyes.
There goes that trouble again, after another rabbit. I bet he doesn't get it.
No, I don't suppose he will. There's one thing I do know. He'll never stop trying. No, sir. He'll never stop trying.